Welcome to day 80 of our school year. Fill in that last one for the row. Okay, let's get down our beginning fraction. We have a total of 180 school days, so that's our denominator. And we are in day 80. Now we want to think, is that numerator prime or composite? Well, it's an even number, and the only even number that is prime is the number 2, so it is composite. And that is because if it's even, 2 is a factor, so we already have more than 2 factors, 1, 2, and itself. So we're going to have to do the prime factorization for 180 and 80. Remember, we start with our first 5 prime to help us out. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. Let's see. I can divide by 3 because 1 plus 8 is 9 plus 0 is 9. 9 is a multiple of 3, so 3 is a factor for 180. I can get 60 groups of 3 out of 180. 60 is even, so I could divide it in half, and I get 30. 30 ends in a 0. I could divide by 5. I get 6. 6 I could divide by 3. I get 2. When I get to a prime number down here, I'm done. Okay, 80 is even. I could divide by 2. I get 40. 40 I could divide by 5. I get 8. 8 I can divide by 2. By 2, and then 2. 2 is prime, so I'm done. So I'm going to get down my prime factorization from least to greatest. 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. And then my numerator is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. So it looks like I have 2 times 2 here and 5 here. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. So that leaves a 4 in the numerator and a 9 in the denominator. So let's go ahead and make our groups of 20, since that's our greatest common factor. Okay. Now let's go ahead and count up our total amount of groups of 20. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total groups. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 shaded in. Okay, now that I've done my division with my model, I'm going to go ahead and divide with my algorithm. So I'm going to divide by my greatest common factor. So 180 divided into groups of 20. And 80 divided into groups of 20. Well, let's see. I know that 20 nickels, so 20 times 5 gives me 100. Numbers the same, zeros the game, more on top, no need to stop. I'm going to do 2. 2 groups of 20 is 40. Numbers the same, zeros okay, more on top, no need to stop. And then 2 more groups of 20 is 40. Numbers the same, zeros a game. Add these partial quotients, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now down here, 2 groups of 20 is 40. Numbers the same, zeros a game, more on top, no need to stop. And 20 times 2 is 40. Numbers the same, zeros a game. 2 plus 2 is 4. Now you may have already recognized that 4 times 2 would have gotten you 8, or 4 times 20 would have gotten you 80. I just want to remind you that there's more than one way to get to the right answer, so just keep using what you know to get to that right answer. Now we're going to check. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. Now since our remainder is 0 for both, and the identity property of addition says when you add 0, it stays the same, I don't need to actually take time to add 0. 9 groups of 0 is 0. 9 groups of 2 tens is 18 tens. 4 groups of 0 is 0. 4 groups of 2 tens is 8 tens. So 80, that checks. 180, that checks with our dividend up here. So our numerator is definitely 4, and our denominator is definitely 9. All right, let's go ahead and fill in our data collection page. Okay, we are in trimester 2, week 5. Today is 12/9/19, and our fraction for today is 4/9. Okay. We did groups of 20, so let's go ahead and get out our number line and look at our groups of 20. We have 1/9 and 2/9. Let's go ahead and get down our 3/9. Well, its simplest form was 1/3, but it is also equivalent to 4/12, 6/18, 10/30, 12/36, 15/45, 20/60, and 30/90, as well as a beginning fraction. And then today is 4/9. There's no lines below it because it is the simplest form, or equivalent fraction in lowest terms, but there is an equivalent fraction in the tens, in the 5s, in the 4s, and the 2s, because 2, 4, 5, and 10 are all common factors, but 20 was our greatest common factor. All right, let's go ahead and put your number line away, erase your worksheet, and thank you for joining me.